Si vidoho tu, bali ni vidoho vya aina yake. Vyakula vya Kiafrika, mtazamaji wangu, vitakuwa hapa. Masahani ndio hayo tayari yanawekwa vizuri, vibakuli vya kuweka supu ama mchuzi pia vinazidi kuandaliwa. Maandalizi yakiangalia tu yakiendelea kuandaliwa hapa ndani katika ukumbi huu, mtazamaji. Sasa hebu tuangalie nyuma yangu, ni kwamba kumekuwa na shughuli na pilika nyingi ambazo zimekuwa zikitokea kutoka mwendo wa asubuhi. Kama unavyoona, hawa ni wafadhili ambao wamejitosa katika mpango huu mzima wa kuweza kusherehekea siku ya kimataifa. Tumekuwa na wafadhili tofauti, mtazamaji, tutakuwa tunawajua baadaye, lakini mbele yangu tu namwona mpiga picha wangu Isinta anajaribu kuonyesha kwa kina ni kwamba pia kina dada ambao wamevalia nguo za Kiafrika, ikiwa ndio kauli mbiu ya leo jamani. Wanasema ngara na ankara, ukipenda pia leso, ukipenda pia kanka. Jamani, ukipenda pia kanga. Wanajua kule pwani wanawake wanavaa kanga ambazo zimeandikwa maneno. Sasa sijui kanga za leo zitakuwa zinasemaje. Usitie shaka, zote hizo nitakuwa nakusomea papa hapa. Kwa hivyo wanawake wanazidi kujiburudisha, wanaingia mmoja aste kujiburudisha. Lakini mtazamaji wangu, tumekuandalia mambo mengi. Vile pia tutakuwa na mahojiano ya moja kwa moja kuhusiana na jinsi wanawake wameweza kujitosa katika tasnia mbalimbali. Na kwa sasa mtazamaji, kabla sijaenda mbali sana, kwani hata bado sherehe haijaanza, lakini kwa sasa nataka tu nikurushe moja kwa moja kwa mhariri wa masuala ya jinsia na elimu, Bi Dorcas Odumbe, ambaye atakuwa anazungumza na kina mama ambao wamekita kambi katika tasnia mbalimbali, wamekita na tunawapatia kongole. Odumbe amenijuza kwamba jamani, kwa lugha ya Kimombo hii leo anaangazia investing in women, how women have invested in themselves. Over to you, Dorcas Odumbe.
Thank you, Frida. Good evening and welcome to our panel discussion this International Women's Day 2024. Our theme this year is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, which essentially highlights the importance of investing in women and girls to enable us as a society to progress. And I'm honored this evening to have a panel of inspirational women who are making strides or have made strides in their own spaces, in their fields where they work. And I'm looking forward to having a discussion that will inspire the younger generation who look up to you. So I'll introduce them. From immediate right, we have Edwarda Gray, the Deputy Development Director, the British High Commission. Karibu, Edwarda.
Thank you.
Next to her is Linda Ndungu, who is the Country Manager, the BOLT. We have Catherine Musakali, the founder, Dorian Associates, and Company Secretary of Rentco Africa Limited. We look forward to understanding what Rentco does. And finally, we have our one and only Margaret Kibogi, the MD, Managing Director, the Kenya Dairy Board. So we are truly privileged to have these brilliant women with us to share insights and experiences and visions on the issues that affect women today. So as we begin this discussion, I would just like to pose this question to each of you, starting with Edwarda. What does investing in women look like to you? What does it mean to you?
Thank you. I'm really pleased to be here with these amazing panelists. I look forward to learn a little bit more from you, and thank you very much. What does investing in women mean? It means believing in women. Me being a woman, I've been a child, a girl before. It means investing in women. It means trusting women. It means giving women ability to make choices about their life. And it means giving women an opportunity to actually contribute to the success of any country, in this specific case, Kenya.
Okay, thank you. Linda?
When I think about it, I see empowerment. It's creating an environment for the woman that actually enables her to succeed in whichever field in life that she decides to get into. That's how I would sum it up.
Thank you. Catherine?
Thank you. Investing in women, to me, and in addition to what has been said, means enabling women. Enabling women to be the best they can be, making it possible for their dreams to be achieved, making it possible for them to be the best they can be and to contribute to our beautiful country.
Thank you. Margaret, finally.
Thank you very much. Investing in women, to me means breaking the barriers to enable women to be empowered, to have access to opportunities,
You'll raise your voice a bit.
to investing in women means breaking the barriers for women to be able to access opportunities that are in place so that they can be able to thrive and, of course, elevate poverty.
Thank you very much. And we know that our society, of course, cannot be built by women alone. Yes, we are the 51% of the population globally. So we need our brothers, our husbands, our sons to be allies in this journey. So this same question I throw to all of you again. What role can men play as allies in supporting and accelerating this investing in women? I'll start again with you, Eduardo.
With me? Great. I will say 2 or 3 things. I think men should be listening and championing experiences of women. We all have son and husband, and we really should be starting this from the home. That's foundation. I think that's one. I think challenging stereotypes. There's a lot of stereotypes about women. I think that's one of the things. And then the workplace, I believe that the men should be really thinking about work-life balance, for example, is one of those areas. If you're a mother, if you just had a baby and return to work, you know, do you have environment where you actually can thrive as well as have a family?
Okay, Linda.
Yeah, I think I would look at it in 3 ways. It's the roles that they can play are around creating awareness, because in some spaces and in some parts of the country, for example, women might not know that the kind of paths that are available for them. And so the men can actually, you know, help in creating that awareness that, you know what, this path is available for you. The second thing is similar to what Eduardo has said. It's about supporting. So as a father, as a husband, as a brother, how can a man help the women in their lives to actually have enough time, enough space, enough skills, enough education to do so? And the third piece for me is also encouragement, because sometimes roles open up, especially in the workplace, and a lot of women, because of the environments we've grown in, are not confident enough to throw their names in the hat. And so a man can step in and say, hey, you know what, I think you can do this, and you can do this really well. Yes.
Catherine, how does that look to you?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And I think about the role of men. I think they should be male champions. That's how I see them. And let's face it, society has been predominantly male dominated. And so men have driven the policies that we are currently, practicing. And so if men can now influence the policies that they're making so that those policies are more gender sensitive, I think that is one way in which they can really influence. It is about inclusion, inclusivity. And when we think about inclusivity, it is the men also allowing the women into their space so that the women can make them even stronger. Because that's what we want. We want to support each other. And it's the role of the women. And if I look at Rentco, for example, the men have really been supportive of the women in terms of enabling them to effectively perform their roles.
How do they do that?
So policies, that is one. And when I think about Rentco, for example, it is the men that drove the ESG policy of Rentco Africa. And the ESG policy has gender diversity as a key pillar there. And if the men had held back on the ESG policy, the women would not be thriving at Rentco Africa.
Thank you.
Well,
Very good.
yes, in addition
Yes.
to what these ladies have said, is men really play a very critical role in issues of women. Because remember, they are leaders, even biblically, as the head of homes. So first of the things that they need to do is to mentor girls, to mentor women, to mentor their wives in all areas, to also champion women legislations, champion the role of women in various sectors. For example, in dairy, where it is male dominated, where the livestock belong to the men, the women is about labor.
Yeah.
So it is them to mentor, so that they know that this is the role and they can be able to do it with no limitations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I hear mentorship, I hear legislation, talk about policy, mentorship. Priscilla, karibu sana. Yeah, and I'll just throw you under the bus just as you've landed. We're just talking about investing in women, and we've just been discussing what role men can play as allies in this journey of women's empowerment, and especially in the economic space and at the workplace.
So I have two personal examples. So one is my first mentor ever was a man, and he was my former boss. I used to work for OLX, and he was my former boss. And he actually took time, dedicated time, to talk me through not just work skills and all that, but also personal life. You know, encourage me to do things, encourage me to grow, to the point where he actually supported the company. Rather, he supported the idea of the company paying for my MBA. So thanks to OLX, I have an MBA from Strathmore. So they do, men do have a critical role, and I think once you're lucky to get someone like that in your life, it actually makes a difference. And I actually owe him a lot. And then my former workplace at Glovo, same thing. The CEO, once we were in a meeting, and he realized that his top executive team was just men. There was no woman. And then when it was pointed out to him, he actually had a deliberate plan to make sure that we have more women in the leadership group. So he actually hired a team for diversity and inclusion, came up with a plan that enabled the team to now create a mentorship program where women in leadership, in senior management, mentor other women so that we have more women coming up. And that was really, really inspiring. And I was actually part of the mentorship group where we were mentoring younger leaders so that at least they can lead in the future.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's quite interesting. What do you think was, because you seem to have been lucky to have come across male mentors and who actually did a good job to you, and you're thanking your MBA to one of them. What did you find unique about them compared to maybe the other men you've interacted with?
To be honest, I think the relationship we had, like, I believe also the fact that I'm also a top performer actually helped the situation. So I think if you are very clear in terms of what you want to do, in terms of what your aspirations, and you share that with your manager, I think that really helps in terms of getting them to support you.
So what I'm hearing is that women also need to pull themselves up
Out there.
Yeah, so to be noticeable. Yeah, and then the mentors will just bring themselves.
And also to just add on to that, I actually told him I want your job in the future.
Wow.
And he was more than happy. He was more than happy to mentor me. So as much as I was in marketing, I would spend 10% of my time doing things outside marketing so that I can grow the other skills that I need to develop.
So you've actually used your voice to get yourself where you are today. I mean, you told him you want to take up his job in future.
Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yes.
So I noticed majority of us here, the panelists, in a space where traditionally men are the ones who have held these particular roles. And I specifically want to speak to you, Margaret, the dairy board. I mean, you just mentioned it earlier, the livestock belongs to the men. The women do the labor. Labor maybe of delivering milk and all, but the livestock, the farms and everything belongs to the men. So this is a space that few women will fear to venture into. So what really inspired you to enter into this industry that's traditionally a male-dominated industry?
That's all right. And I think one of the reasons was actually very personal. I love to drink milk. I love milk and milk products. It is actually my meal. For that reason, when I saw this opportunity as CEO of Kenya Dairy Board, I thought this is where I'll even be getting milk every morning. And besides that, of course, I wanted to transform the space that there are few women from primary production, where we have now at household level, where we have farmers. What is it that I need to do to make it inclusive? Because I was brought up in a farm, and there was a lot of participation of dairying in my home. And I could see the challenges women were going through, starting with my mother. Yeah, because you have to finish with the work in the farm, the dairy, and actually continue with the work in the household.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is now the opportunity for me to make a difference at that level of primary production. There was also a gap in value addition, because traditionally in every function you'll find milk, but I thought the handling part was not being done properly. And I thought it is an opportunity for me to bring more women in the area of value addition, where they'll be able to add value and have ice cream and have their children, enjoy ice cream, have cheeses, and have all those things. In terms of even entrepreneurship, it's a very big space. And I felt this is the opportune time to talk to women. In fact, being there alone will encourage the women to feel free and come and talk to me more on the opportunities along the value chain. And we had an engagement, and through that, we've been able to establish cooperatives owned by women.
Wow.
All the way to Northeastern. We have well established in Marsabit. They're now doing value addition on camel milk, women-led.
Wow.
In terms of 100%, the leadership is women. In terms of membership is women. And they're doing so much and learning and mentoring each other. We have some in Kajiado, and they're doing extremely well. And out of that, it has inspired, and I've been able to see the transformation of inclusivity, processing part of it. Out of the big network that we have, I would say the percentage is very low. And that is the area we are encouraging to grow small. And we keep telling them, grow small, work together as women, and you will get there.
Wow. Thank you.
We have done a lot of training, benchmarking within the successful stories within the country, and be able to learn from each other, encourage each other, learn from me and learn from the other.
Okay.
So it has been a very, very exciting period
Thank you.
to be with them. Yes. in
Thank
the
you very
sector.
much. Inspiring inclusion.
Yes.
And so when women are in leadership, they actually hold the other women's hands
Yes.
and tag them along.
Yes.
So we need more women in leadership for us to be able to, inspiring that inclusion, bring more of them on board. Linda,
Yes.
you're another one in a very, very male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
The taxi hailing industry is not a main feat, and there are quite a number of challenges that, women in that space face. So what inspired you? I mean, how did you find yourself there?
Truly, it's a mix of what the two panelists have said already. So initially, one of my colleagues that I'd worked with previously, I was a career consultant, I like to call it. I was at Deloitte for almost 10 years. And so this space was new. Transport, especially public transport and taxis, very new to me. But one of my colleagues that I knew from that space had moved into the sector when it was very young, and they had grown, and they reached out to me and they said, hey, this position is open and I think you'd be a good fit for it. And so it took me a minute to think through and see, okay, is this a space I want to get into? Because when you think about taxis and, traditional taxis, online taxis, it's very male dominated. It's very, not necessarily white collar job kind of job description. And when you're female, then you have to think through all these issues of, can I actually handle a very predominantly male audience, both internally within the company as well as externally, because our driver partners, most of them are male. So, I had to work through that, but this gentleman that actually, saw the potential that I had to get into this space really coached me through like what it would look like and the kind of future we could create. And that kind of ties into why I joined, because when I look at the taxi hailing industry, it has so much potential to employ young people in this country. Because a young person, if you have a driving license, you can get a boda boda, a two-wheeler, you can get a car, a four-wheeler. You can start your own business. It creates spaces for entrepreneurship across the country. And so I said to myself, you know what? It's an intimidating space, but I see how I can add into it. And you know what? it needs a brave person to get there. And once we start, then, you know, more of us can be in this space. So this is how I found myself in the sector. Yeah.
So you just need to be courageous enough.
Yes, and just step in.
And just venture into it. And I'm hearing a lot of the power of male allies, you know, the men who are holding women's hands. And we need to encourage them and celebrate them.
Yes.
So that others can emulate what they're doing and bring more women.
Yes.
Yeah, so Margaret talked about the camels in northeastern Kenya, and that brings me to Eduarda, who's working with the Reinvent program that's mostly based in northern Kenya, a very marginalized area. And in such communities, women are the ones that are disadvantaged the most, you know. The women and the girls face a lot, there's conflict, and then traditionally there's such patriarchal communities where women have no voice. So I would like to know more about this work you do through Reinvent, and how you're supporting the women and girls in northern Kenya.
Thank you. So there are two angles of the work that I want to talk about. One is that we work with institutions at the policy level. I think one of the colleagues said about it's important to have right policy. So we work with institutions. For example, we created a Polycare, which is police care. And in doing that, what we did is we provided training for the police and the policies so that they can actually understand what does it mean if a GBV survivor comes in to report something. What are the safeguards that are required for that? So that's one element of the work we do. And for example, the other element on linked to the policy and the bigger picture, we've trained, for example, 200 police officers, exactly, in terms of how to use the policies, the existing policies, how to deal with these when they are doing their normal work, how to deal with this in sensitive way, because of course this is something that is very sensitive. So I think that's one area of the work we do. And then the second area is actually with the survivors itself, with the GBV survivors itself, in terms of providing a safe place where people can share experience. I would like to talk about a safe room, for example. We created one in Mombasa. In fact, when the king came to visit, the queen went to see there, and she had an opportunity to speak with some survivors. And I think the beauty of that is women supporting other women, encouraging women, sharing experience, and really, for example, if a woman is going to a court, the other women go with her to give her power to ensure that she's not alone in that sphere. So those are the two main areas that we work. But I want to touch back on something you said, which is the north. I actually visited Garissa. I've been to a few counties, and I visited Garissa, and I went to see one of these programs in action, and I was really inspired by what they were talking about. And this specific case was about FGM, and it was a theater where women were saying, I have a power. I don't want my father to sell me for $2,000, right? And in that specific case, she managed to speak with the community leaders to come in and help. The mother went and spoke with other women in the in the locality, in the community, and the end result was that this girl was not sold. The father gave the money back, and then she actually became a doctor, and built a house for the parents after. I mean, that $2,000 would have been a momentum money, right? But in a longer term, that shows how empowering women is really important. Giving opportunities actually show results.
And still. On security, because you also touched on security, and women are so key in peace building.
Yes.
I don't know how do you work with the women in these areas, in these regions, to help in building peace within the community? Because when there's conflict, most of the time it is the women and the children who suffer the most. So how are you empowering the women on matters peace building?
So the UK has a lot more programs apart of Reinvest. Reinvest is one of them. So for example, we do have another program which we work particularly on security issues. In that program, what we do, we empower women to be part of the decision making, because that's the main issue, is that often is men sitting around the table taking decision about what to do, and forget that the women actually can not only be powerful in terms of sharing experience, but also bring that emotional intelligence that we have, and the reality check into some of those negotiations.
Okay, thank you very much. Maidawa,
Yes.
a very unique venture, online pharmacy. I would love to understand how now this online pharmacy, Maidawa, how you've utilized this to empower women, especially around areas of maternal health and, you know, reproductive health and all.
Okay. So I want to share with you some statistics. 90% of our top 20 products are actually either women or baby. And 60% of our customers are female. And also, if you look at who our core target audience is, it's the woman in the house. Actually, we have a name for her. It's Chief Family Health Officer. We have a name for her. Because when you think about it, she makes a lot of decisions, especially around the well-being of the family. So we are actually in the process of finalizing the campaign. We are calling it the We Care campaign. And that campaign showcases a woman and the different struggles she has. She has a sick father. So Maidawa can support you. You don't have to worry about that. We'll deliver medication to your father. She has a baby who needs diapers. You can get delivered from Maidawa. She needs a skincare product. She can get it from Maidawa. So the woman is actually is our target audience, our core target audience. And then also internally, I have 10 people reporting to me, and 7 out of the 10 are women. And it's not by design. But
Especially after the male.
Actually, I have a position for HR, and the men in the team were like, "You have to get a man now." The boy child is struggling. Anyway, and yeah, that's one of the statistics I can share. So I'm a big believer of empowering women. We also have this program, we're calling it the Career Moms Empowerment. So what we do every 2 months, we meet, we get together, we share our experiences. Actually, the last one we did it 2 weeks ago, and I got to learn a lot about the different people in the office. There's a woman who has 4 kids, wakes up at 5. She wakes up in shifts because she has 4 kids, and they wake up in different times. So there's one who wakes up at 6, 7, at 8, takes care of them before she comes to work. She doesn't have a nanny. And I look at her differently now. I really admire her a lot. Yeah, so we have those forums where we get together and talk about the challenges we face as moms. And this is also driven by the fact that I'm a single mother, and I have a very demanding job, and sometimes it gets lonely up there. And such forums enable us to come together and speak about what we're struggling with, and also learn from each other. You don't have to make the same mistakes I made. You can learn from me.
But Maidawa is a digital platform.
It's a digital platform.
So isn't it discriminatory in terms of looking at especially the rural woman who in most cases do not own smartphones or do not own phones at all? So how are you catering for that particular population?
Actually, we have changed our strategy to what we call bricks and clicks. Bricks and clicks meaning we have an online platform, but we also have a physical location. We've started it in Mombasa. So in Mombasa, we have a pharmacy, a walk-in pharmacy. You can walk in and buy. At the same time, we use the same facility to deliver orders in Mombasa. 3 weeks ago, we launched Meru. With the aim of getting to the rural community. And now we are launching a program, we're calling it Pharmacist Mashinani, that will enable people to access medication easily by having someone in their a local pharmacist based in their ward to go to this pharmacy, collect medication on their behalf, and then come and distribute to them. So they don't have to go all the way to the city center to buy medication. So we're actually piloting it next week, and the aim is to enable people to access medication more easily. So we are very intentional about access of medication, especially around women as well. Also, another example I can give, we are currently working on a family planning project with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They have funded us to come up with an online journey for delivering family planning products, either injectables, so we have to hire nurses who are on bikes or using Uber or Bolt. Sorry. Uber or Bolt. Yeah, so we are actually very proactive about that. So this project is set to kick off sometime in September. So we are working on the online journey right now. Even our platform will be optimized to cater for this target audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now I come to you, Catherine. Rentco, you know, when you hear the name Rentco, it sounds so masculine, it sounds so sophisticated, it sounds so technical.
Yeah.
So what exactly does the organization do,
Yes.
and how do you in the process weave women into the narrative of what the organization does?
Okay. So first and foremost, let me start by saying that out of a board of 7, 4 are women at Rentco.
Wow.
Right? Now, what is Rentco? If you can own it, you can lease it. As basic as that. So let me go back to what Linda said, which is that you want young people involved. You want them to start their entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
But what is the biggest hindrance? You want women to jump in and do things, and women are doing great things. You know, the highest number of SMEs and MSMEs is actually women-led. So how does Rentco then support that journey? Those bikes that you're talking about, you don't have to own it. You can lease it, a long-term lease through Rentco. If you need a carpet in your house, Dorcas, you don't have to buy it. Just come to Rentco, they'll buy it, they'll furnish your house for you. You don't have to think about capital.
Yeah.
Just pay the lease repayments monthly, and that's it. So anything that can be owned can be leased from Rentco. That basically that is the business of Rentco. How then does Rentco weave in women? If I think about healthcare, for example, there are so many female doctors, female physicians looking to start hospitals. But the biggest hindrance to their starting the hospital is the equipment. It doesn't matter that they have the other doctors, because the doctors will be paid when they come in. If they don't have equipment to run the hospital, they just can't start. So that's what Rentco does. It buys all the equipment, it rents it out to the doctors, and they go ahead and treat. Women want to start a supermarket in their local, estate. They don't have shelves. Actually, more than 90% of all the supermarket shelving in Kenya is owned by Rentco.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So my message is this. If you want to start a Bolt, I don't know why we can't get more young people coming to Rentco to get those bikes from Rentco so that they can start their business. How do we involve women? We have including a fund for the girl child. The receptionist who currently sits at Rentco was educated through that fund up to the time that she has gotten her degree. So we have gone into investing in the girl child. We have gone into looking at the MSME and SME businesses across Kenya, and we are saying to the women, come to Rentco, we're supporting you. And as I said earlier, there is an ESG policy that focuses on gender issues and ensuring that people are achieving their dreams. Let me say something else. The first time I walked into the Rentco offices, I was blown away. You know why? It's just inviting. It's such a happy space. You know, the murals on the wall, the colors on the wall, and all of that. It is so inviting. And that's what we want to encourage women to do, even in their own spaces at home.
Wow, beautiful. So it's national, it's nationwide.
It is not even nationwide, it's Africa-wide.
Okay.
Yes,
Beautiful.
it is Africa-wide. So Rentco, that's why it's called Rentco Africa, because it has installations across the African continent.
Across the continent.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, Margaret, coming back to you. You spoke a bit about the initiatives that the Kenya Dairy Board has started, and especially around empowering women. I would love to hear, you're a trailblazer actually in that space. So what advice would you give a young woman who would want to venture into that space, who looks at you and says, when I grow up, I want to be Margaret, if not better than Margaret?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I want to encourage young people, women, who want to get into leadership. And they're working for government, because Kenya Dairy Board is a government institution. And actually, I would say that I was the first lady to be appointed as a managing director. And the institution is as old as, it was established in 1958.
Oh.
So that is a space that I always tell women or young people to gain knowledge.
Yeah.
Empower yourself with education. Empower yourself with good network. Empowering yourself with mentors. If it is in the sector of the dairy sector, for example, and you want to get into commercial dairy farming, production, for example, gain knowledge in that space. Get mentors by getting mentors who are leaders, yeah, and of course networking, so that you're able to know what happens in that space. Because the biggest challenge is the limitation of mind. We limit our minds and say that space belongs to somebody else. It's not possible to get there. But once you open up, you'll be able to grow, and we have seen that in that space. And what we have developed, for example, is documents and policies that support the growth of women. We have one document called sustainability, and we have 4 pillars, where we have prosperity, we have the planet, governance issues. And when you look at issues of planet and relating it to the women, we know the challenges that the women have. And the biggest challenge, of course, in the rural areas is inclusivity and use of firewood. And what we have done in that project is to ensure that women convert cow dung into gas. That way, they secure their health and, of course, the time taken. So we want more people to learn more about dairy and, of course, gain knowledge and build strong networks to be able to see what are those opportunities within that space, so that you can be able to prepare yourself for growth. It's a good space, being in leadership, because you're able to implement your vision. What is the vision? Where do you want to take people? Where there are challenges, in fact, the area, so that you're able to bring in gaps, the interventions, be able to address those areas. So we want to encourage more people to gain knowledge in that area.
Okay, thank you. Linda, quickly, we have 10 minutes to go. I'll not let you go without me asking this question. Bolt, in certain corners, I've had not a very pleasant, not a very good name on matters security. So that I've even come across people who say that they actually deleted the app because of 1 incident, 2 incidents, and you see, when you talk about insecurity, women would suffer more. So that, for example, at the end of this session today, I know a number of women will want to take a cab back home. And probably there's one who will say, I'll not take a Bolt because of what I've had before. So what measures are you putting in place to just let the women know, to encourage the women to not fear Bolt and to know that it's the go-to taxi, because it's not been good?
True, and that's a very fair assessment and question. And I'll preface by saying that we have been growing and evolving over the years. So Bolt has been in this country about 7 years now. Where Bolt was 7 years ago when it started and where it is today is very, very different because the industry has evolved, the company has evolved. We've grown up, we like to say internally, and we've come alive to the issues that surround our spaces. And one of the primary ones is security, as you've mentioned. And so we've put very many features, especially over the last year and a half, in place to enhance that security. And when we think about security, especially for our female drivers, because it's true, they are more vulnerable compared to, maybe perhaps our male driver partners. And some of the things that we've put in place is we have a specific category for women. So these are female drivers, and they get a lot of flexibility to select who they want to offer their services to within that category. Another thing that we've done, this is actually a recent one, because we realized, not everybody who purports to want to take a trip has good intentions, especially when they realize it's a female driver. And so we've introduced a feature called rider verification, where when people sign up, depending on a lot of other things in the background, you could be asked to share a selfie of yourself to just verify that, if it's Linda who wants to offer a trip, it's actually Linda and not Kamau, her brother. So we've introduced this. Another thing we have in place is unsafe areas feature. And so we proactively let our drivers know, both female and male, this trip will potentially end or start in an area where, from our data and our assessment, might not be the safest. And so we give them the chance to decide if they want to venture into it or not. And so many others. I could go on and on and on. But as you can see, because I am a woman and I'm in that space, it's one of the things that is critical for me to get right as we go forward.
So you're giving our women an assurance that Bolt is safe?
Yes.
They should not fear it.
100%.
So those who've deleted the app should download it.
Download it again. Try.
Okay, ladies, you heard what Linda has just said. We are about to wind up. Unfortunately, we are unable to discuss all the many beautiful things we have wanted to discuss.
Yes.
But I just want to ask us some general questions. What you think has been a major barrier for women to step forward and to take up these leadership positions? And this is a question I'd want each one of you to answer in a minute because of time. And I'll start with you, Priscilla.
Okay. Actually, I would like to give a personal example again. I was
in a minute.
When I started. Yes, in a minute. When I started at Glovo, I was the head of marketing, and then I became the general manager after 1.5 years. And remember, I told my boss I want his job. So in Glovo, I said the same thing. I wanted to be a GM at some point in my life because I was tired of marketing. So the interesting thing is that when the opportunity came about, because the then country manager wanted to leave the country, he was not Kenyan, wanted to leave the country. I was offered the opportunity because I've been communicating that I want the opportunity. But guess what? I said no. And the reason for this is because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe I could do it. There's all these things I tell myself.
Imposter syndrome.
It checked in properly. So the good thing is that I had a good boss, again, a male boss, who knew me and knew how I struggled sometimes with confidence. He told me, Priscilla, go and think about it. It was on a Friday, I remember. Come on Monday and let me know what your decision is. I didn't wait for Monday. Sunday, I called him. I told him, I'm very scared. I don't know what to do. I've never done this before, but I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyway. So that's what I did. I decided, you know what, I don't know what's ahead of me. And then the people who I was supposed to work with were also my peers, my friends, so I'm going to be their boss. So there's all these things going in my head. So I just said, you know what, I don't know what's ahead of me, but I'm going to feel the fear, but do it anyway.
Okay.
And that's what I would advise anyone.
Thank you. Margaret.
Yes.
1 minute.
Yes, 1 minute. And I would say two things. Cultural barriers, really big in our sector that inhibits women to grow. The other, of course, is legal processes and the challenges. Like, for example, owning land. You see, like many women get married to a home, and when you get there, marriage does not include owning property. Like, for example, land. And they probably want to expand, and you're looking for opportunities like financial support, to be able to expand whatever you're doing. You have that limitation because you have no collateral, to be able to borrow or any other. So you have limitation on that framework to own property in terms of at early stage before, of course, you get to owning personal property. But especially this affects the rural women because they're not able to be able to own that. And that is an area that we need to look at. How do we expand so that this opportunity is available? And it's a great barrier to growth for a woman.
Catherine.
Let me answer that question wearing another hat that I wear, which is the chair of the Women on Boards Network Kenya. And what is holding women back from perhaps even board positions? It is fear. You fear putting yourself forward. 2, it is lack of people who speak your name when you're not in that room. Because you know what? Board positions are still predominantly very male dominated. In Kenya, we are at about 36%. So we need more women at that decision making table so that we can get more women there. 3, women have like 3 jobs in a day. So you fear putting yourself forward for yet another job. Which is maybe a board position. The 4th thing that I would say is holding back women from those board positions is mentorship. That we don't have enough mentorship opportunities. We don't have enough examples of, by the way, Margaret is a member of the Women on Boards Network. We don't have enough Margarets going around telling people this is possible and this is how I did it. So those are just some of the examples.
Thank you. Linda.
And my encouragement to young ladies who aspire to be leaders is feel the fear, do it anyway. Find allies who will help you to break the barriers that are in place. And thirdly, educate yourself. Like in my field, because it's heavily tech dominant, then you need to know what you know and know what you don't, and then get skills in what you don't, because that's how you build your own respect and credibility. Yes.
Thank you. Eduarda.
Wow, they've said everything. I guess I will summarize in 2 points. One is confidence, and I think a lot of colleagues said here, fear. I think confidence. We women are not confident. I think there is evidence that men see a job, looks at it, and say, "I can do it." Even if he can do only 20%. Women sees it and he can do 99%, but that 1% will put us off. So I think that's definitely one element. And then the second element, I will run into sponsorship, network, coaching, and mentoring. I think we women are not forward in terms of looking for those opportunities, being brave enough to say, I want this and I will go for it. And I think that is my encouragement for younger girls and women. Future leaders of tomorrow, go for it. It's going to be frightening. We all been frightening at some point, but at the end, the result will be worth it.
Wow. So mentorship and taking care of the imposter syndrome, getting allies through networking, educating yourself, and just having that confidence is what we actually need to move ahead. And this is the message to the young girls and even the women who are out there still feeling so timid, you know, and scared of asking or telling the boss, I want your job, you know? So we need to go for it. We should not fear. So even as we wind up now, this will be my last question. I just want you to give me one sentence on how you see the world in the next 5 years, because now we are telling ourselves that we are investing, okay? We are inspiring inclusion as we invest in women economically. So in 5 years, what do you see the world looking like? Let me start from my left.
Wow, that's a difficult one. I guess there is the ideal scenario and there's what might happen. The ideal scenario is that we have a lot more women in leadership roles, at the table, at decision making, which will result in less conflict, a more peaceful world, I believe. The second point is that the reality may not actually be that. We still have a lot to do, and there is a responsibility for all of us as mothers, as leaders, as grandmothers, to really push this agenda. As politicians, as wherever we do, we all have to keep going with this agenda, because otherwise success will not be there.
Because because we actually give ourselves 5 years. Every time, you know, someone tells something, we're like, give me 5 years. Yeah. Watch this space. So 5 years.
Yes, and it's a very interesting question. And what comes to mind for me is diversity and inclusion. Because this is not a journey just for women alone by themselves. It's not for women, by women. And, you know, once upon a time, that's where we started because we had to build our allies. But now I think we're in a space where we have allies. We have generally across the board, there are people collectively, male and female, who see the value of including women in very many different spaces, including leadership. And so for me, when I think 5 years, maybe I'm very idealistic in my thinking, but this is what I would love to see. Inclusive spaces where your right to get in is not based on your gender. Your right to get in is based on your qualifications, your skill, who you are as a person, not, you know, how you look on the outside. And that for me, ideally, is what we should be walking towards.
Wow.
Maybe just to add, I mean, if you think about it, the first International Women's Day was celebrated in 1911, right? How many years has it taken for us to get here? So 5 years is a very short time. We will not even have, you know, moved too much. But having said that, I see a more inclusive society, a society where men and women support each other to thrive. A society where women are more empowered than they are today from an economic perspective, because there are all these initiatives going on. But I also see a danger, which is from a social cultural perspective, because hey, some men are feeling threatened, let's face it. And so we need to deal with that fear that women are taking over the world. And so in the next 5 years, we need to invest in that social cultural support, just to say, you know what, it is okay. In fact, what God said is, man is not good alone. You need the woman. So you need us for us to achieve where we want to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I see a more empowered woman. Yeah, I see more legislation which are pro women to support the women. I see more voices from the male, and I see a lot of mentorship coming in, because the information now is out there. So more women will participate more, even in leadership.
Thank you.
So for me, I totally see the same thing, but for me, I see three main things. One is I see more men becoming allies for women, becoming cheerleaders, and I've been lucky to encounter some of them. And the second thing is I see also women who are in leadership being more proactive in terms of mentoring, dedicating time, resources, and support to bring up other women, because we bring each other up, right? So I see that as well. And then I see more confident women as we inspire more women. As we tell our stories, we use our stories to inspire others to also say, I want your job and you're my boss. So get more women to say that, and you know, have a plan, begin with the end in mind. I want to be here, and then communicate that plan to the people who are involved in your career. So actually, that's I can say it has been the secret sauce, being open about my plan. I have a life plan. I know where I want to be, and I communicate it whenever I get a chance, and to the people who are important in making that plan to come to success.
I see a lot of optimism. I see a lot of positive energy. A world where every woman or every man and woman feel that they belong. So no discrimination based on gender in any space. So as we wind up, I just want each one of you to give me their parting shot, and especially around this theme, you know, investing in women, inspiring inclusion. So what would be your parting shot, Eduarda?
3 points. Educate girls. Second, empower women and girls to make choices about their reproductive health. And third, eliminate all the GBV, all kinds of GBV. And I want to finish with a quote from Pope Francis. If all women are educated and experienced, the world will be much better.
Thank you. One sentence.
For me, I would say when we come together and empower women, we create a ripple effect from the household level to the community level to the country level to the world So let's just do it. This is a great place to start.
Thank you. Catherine, quickly.
Absolutely. Give a woman a seed, and what do you get?
A tree.
Thank you very much. Invest in women.
Okay, Margaret has wind up. Yes. One sentence.
Invest in a woman and you change livelihoods.
Thank you, Priscilla.
You're not defined by what is in your mind. You're defined by what you do. So don't be afraid when things are going on in your head. Just do, and that's what defines you.
Wow. Thank you very much, our panel. It's been a beautiful discussion, and we've just seen how it is important to empower the girl child, and it is also important to have the men as allies. So even to the men, we ask them not to fear. It's not a competition. We're just holding each other's hand to build a better society. So thank you so much, our panelists. It's been a lovely evening, and now I want to hand us over to Frida Mwaka, who is at the red carpet the other side. Frida, what do you have for us there?
Kas Odumbe, angalau umetujuza sana kuhusiana na jinsi wanawake wanavyoweza kuwekeza. Lakini mtazamaji, wanawake huwa hawawekezi kwa hela peke yake, pia vile vile wanawekeza ndani ya mapambo. Na hivi sasa nipo ndani ya red carpet, nitakuwa nawaonyesha wanawake mishono aina ainati. Jamani, mafundo wamefanya kazi. Lakini sijui kama mpiga picha wangu Isinta anaweza anza na mimi mwenyewe, kwa sababu si vyema nianze na wengine na mwenyewe sijaanza nami. Unanionaje mtazamaji wangu, Kichuna leo amevaa kama mwanamke wa Kinigeria, yani mwanamke wa Kiafrika. Nimetengeneza hapa gwanda langu vizuri, pamoja na hii kofia imeshonwa na House of Kichuna mimi mwenyewe. Lakini kwa sasa ngoja nikutafutie kina dada ambao wameng'aa. Karibuni jamani, karibuni. Leo ni siku yenu. Hawa wamesema jamani leo watavalia nguo nyeusi. Unaanza na jina lako, unajitambulisha, kwa nini unajisikia yani leo umerembeka zaidi, na ni kipi kikubwa ambacho kimekuleta hapa?
My name is Maya Nadia. I'm here today because we're celebrating International Women's Day, and I'm very happy. I'm from EcoBank, and we focus on women. Yeah.
Na mwacha tusikie jina la mwenzako.
My name is Felicitas Masai. I'm from EcoBank, Kenya. The reason as to why I'm here is because it's our day, and EcoBank being so keen on women, the Elevate program, I'm so delighted to be here.
Sasa tuzungumzie mishono, kwa sababu kupata vitu kama hivi mama si rahisi. Hebu tueleze, huu mshono umenunua Dubai, umenunua huku Kenya, nani kakushonea, fundi wako?
Nimenunua Kenya, Africa Brand Designs. Yes.
Na kipi ambacho kilikufanya ukasema jamani hii ndio rinda ambayo lazima ning'are nalo leo?
Because it's African and I want to support African, because it's a women-run business as well, and the African wear is very
Unajihisi umependeza?
Yes, napendeza sana.
Tuambie kuhusiana na hii inaitwa ile mermaid Inapendeza sana. Nani kashona?
I have my designer where I usually buy my clothes, so I got it from my designer.
Na unajihisi kana kwamba leo yani wewe ni inatoa kila kitu yani vizuri?
Inanifanya nakaa vizuri, inapendeza. I'm so happy.
Jamani, mtazamaji wangu, wanawake ni macho tu, wanasema I'm so happy. Ngoja nisikie hao wengine, karibia tu. Sasa huyu ni kama mimi, amesema lazima tufike kule Nigeria.
Walitupatia dress code. Mkasema we have to come in glamorous and being a woman. Really, today is a special day. Not just today, all the days. Yes, you're looking nice.
Thank you so much. Jitambulishe jina, utuambie nani kakushonea na mbona mshono huu?
I'll try to speak in English. I hope it's okay. So my name is Dr. Christine Ogola. I'm a global health expert. So I normally design my own clothes, but I have a tailor who does it for me. Yes.
Na ni kipi ambacho kimekufanya jamani useme wacha tuongezee na hii kofia hii?
I like how West Africans dress. It adds a bit of glam. You see like what you have on your head?
I am West African myself.
Oh, you are? No wonder. It adds, you see like when you dress like this, then you add something on the top. It completes the whole look.
Okay.
Yes.
International Women's Day 2024. Ni kipi ambacho unaweza sema?
I think it's just time for us to do global bigger things, you know? Not the usual that is normally being said over the years, things that are going to have impact to ensure that no girl is left behind, they're included and they're part of the economic development in any country, irrespective of where they're coming from.
Karibu sana, jiburudishe, wacha tuzungumze na hawa kina dada. Jamani wanaingia tu kwa madaha, ingeni tu kwa madaha. Ukitaka pia zunguka, watu waone mshono. Mshono umependeza huu. Jitambulishe kwa jina, tuambie unajisikia vipi siku ya leo.
Naitwa Catherine Wanja Kariega. Nimefurahi sana kuwa hapa. Nimekuja ili I interact with other women, ndio niweze kusikia what other people are doing out here, and so that I am also able to make networks, and have a good time.
Unajua hapa tunazungumzia mishono. Sasa huu mshono wako huu unaona kuna rangi ya inati. Hebu tuambie kitenge hichi ulikitoa wapi? Kwa sababu nikigusa hiki kitenge ni kizuri.
Sitasema sana, lakini akijatoka hapa lakini nilipata mafundi wazuri. Sijui kama tunafaa kuwasema waliotengeneza, wanaitwa Mavazi Africa. Ndio walinitengenezea hiki mshono na hiki kitenge, wakatengeneza kabisa. Wanaitwa Mavazi Africa.
Mavazi Africa.
Ndio.
Na bila shaka jamani umezidi kung'aa. Sasa hapa si kina mama peke yake, bali namuona pia bingwa ameingia ndani. Naona hapa ni Taita Gems, baadhi ya wafadhili wetu. Karibu sana ndani ya siku ya kushabikia kina mama ama wanawake. Wewe naona umevalia kanzu. Hebu jitambulishe jina lako, tuambie hii kanzu umeinunua wapi?
Asante. Mimi naitwa Davis Kambale Tayo kutoka Taita. Kule Taita.
Kwa Sindamana.
Na Sindato kwa Sindamana. Tuko na vitu vizuri vya wamama, ndio tumesema leo tujumuike nao. Tuje tuwaonyeshe kwamba tunawajali na hizi gemstones kutoka Taita. Kwa Taita Gems kuna kila kitu chao.
Kila kitu. Kwa hivyo labda neno moja tu kwa kina mama, kwa wanawake utawaambia nini?
Sisi twawapenda sana. Twawapenda sana na nyinyi mjipende.
Unatupenda na sisi tujipende.
Mjipende. Sasa huu upendo ukikuwa pamoja uko kama gemstone.
Bila shaka. Naja kuchukua zawadi yangu hapo.
Hii zawadi ni ya the best dressed lady.
Wao wanionaje?
Sasa naweza kupatia sasa hivi. Asante.
Nitaichukua pembeni. Na kuna mwingine hapa sijui namuona ameniletea zawadi, sijui kama ni yangu. Nitashukuru sana. Unapendeza. Hebu jitambulisha alafu tuambie huu mshono wako jamani, kwa sababu naona kitenge kimejificha kule ndani. Kuna siliti ambayo inatoa kitenge vizuri. Amevalia kitenge na hii ya nje inaitwa tutu. Hai, kwa jina.
Naitwa Daktari Mukami Gadariki. Mimi ni plastic surgeon.
Wajua tumewazoea mkivalia yale magwanda yenu, kumbe mnaweza ng'ara nje.
Pendeza pia sisi.
Siku ya leo ina maana gani kwako?
Siku ya leo ni siku muhimu sana, siku ambayo kina mama tunaweza kuwa included. Ndio.
Na hii zawadi uliobeba ni ya nani? Kwa sababu inapendeza sana.
Leo kumekuwa na sherehe nyingi sana. Nimetoka sherehe moja ya bank ya SBM ambayo wamenipea. Hapa chini ni NCBA. Leo imekuwa siku nzuri.
Na bila shaka katika hafla yetu ya leo pia sisi tutakushabikia na zawadi. Asante sana kwa kuungana nasi. Haya, waje huku na upande huu pia waje. Namuona kwa box, ingieni tu kwa box, karibia. Hebu tueleze hii sasa hii si kanga, hii ni kitenge.
Hiki ni kitenge.
Jina
Margaret Omboi is my name.
Na leo unajihisi vipi? Kiswahili leo itabidi mukizungumze. Unajihisi vipi siku ya leo ulipoangalia mishono yote akasema jamani mshono unaofaa hafla hii ni huu? Kwa nini?
Kwa sababu nilielezewa na Jadina. Dina nikaona lazima ning'are, kisha nikaelezewa lazima niwe na touch of African. Nikajiwekelea hili.
Kibaridi kikiingia utajifunika.
Kabisa.
Karibu sana. Kwa hivyo umesema matarajio yako makuu ya leo ni gani?
Na nimekuja kuungana na wanawake wenzangu kusherehekea hii siku. Manake nikiangalia pale mbeleni tumepepea. We have really been able to overcome a lot of challenges. Siku hizi twasoma. Ndio maana unasikia hata Kiswahili kidogo chanichanganya because I have learned in English.
Lakini pia
nimeenda shule. Mbeleni wazazi wetu hawakwenda shule. Tumeenda shule. Soko imefunguka. Tunaweza fanya biashara, tunaweza fanya kazi. Bado tunaendelea kulinda jamii. maboma, watoto.
Na pia bado mnang'ara.
Na bado tunang'ara.
Karibu sana katika hafla ya leo. Labda tu kwa sasa mtazamaji tuweze kuzungumza na huyu mwana mitandao, labda nitamuita hivyo, amekuwa kigonga vichwa vya habari katika mitandao yetu ya kijamii, lakini ni fahari yangu sana mami kukuona. Hebu zunguka kidogo kwanza. Asante sana kwa box. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Kipi kikubwa, tunaomba tusongee mbele kidogo. Leo unatarajia nini katika hafla hii?
Yani nataka I expect to learn a lot about, making wealth. I expect to interact with a lot of women, to network with, beautiful, like naona tu watu warembo, watu wazuri, and I'm so excited. Also, I'm here in the capacity of Genio. So tulikuja huku ku display products, and then now I want to join the dinner.
Yeah. Sasa tuje katika huu mshono, kwa sababu huu ni mshono wa kipekee. Ilichukua siku ngapi labda kutengeneza huu mshono?
Siku moja tu. It's very simple.
Shabikia fundi wako?
Elafrik, nawe fundi wako?
Fundi wangu ni mimi mwenyewe, House of Kichuna jamani. Mimi ndo nakalia cherehani na jishonea.
Next client. House of Kichuna.
Karibu sana. Kuna mwingine hapa. Jamani, huyu sasa amevalia kama mimi, kidogo rangi ya machungwa.
Rangi ya machungwa. Okay.
Karibu sana. Jina, alafu niambie huu mshono. Huyo si siku moja huu. Fundi hapa alikesha.
Siku mbili.
Jina lako?
Jina langu ni Rose Mora Wahome. Yes.
Hebu tueleze kuhusiana na mshono wako wa leo.
Mshono wa leo ni wa maridadi. Nilitaka kuwakilisha wanawake wa Afrika na kutoa rangi na maridadi, maua.
Kuonyesha jinsi wanawake wanapenda rangi.
Yes, na maua pia, kwa sababu tunapenda furaha. Yes.
Unatarajia nini leo?
Natarajia kukutana na wanawake wenzangu, kusherehekea siku ya leo, to network with other ladies, and to just have fun. Yes.
Karibu sana. Na nakutakia kila laheri. Kina dada, nakwambia sitoki hapa leo mtazamaji. Mimi leo ni kuangalia mishono. Kesho ukiniona na huu mshono usiseme niliiga, lakini jua kwamba niliutoa hapa. Amevalia rangi nyeupe. Karibu sana. Jina lako, tuambie matarajio yako ya leo, na hata nguo pia umeitoa wapi?
Asante sana. Kwa majina ni Lucy Siombo Mwende, a 20-year-old here in Kenya, working for Marula company, but courtesy of courtesy of Oxfam. I'm just happy the fact that we're doing the women empowerment thing, is encouraging us, the young people, of which I would urge us, the young people, just to be out here, try whatever you can, things gonna happen, just give it your all. Mmetupea jina mbaya kama Gen Zs. We are lazy, we don't.
Msema Gen Zs nyinyi
mnatuchukulia vibaya jamani. Of which I would urge all of you, just try and understand your Gen Z, try and understand everyone, the young people around you, because there's something inside us. Of course, maybe not all, but for most of us, kuna watu bado wako na the drive. And I'm so happy to have this opportunity and be in this event. It's going to create opportunities.
Na asante sana. Amesema jamani yeye ni Gen Z na lazima ajishabikie. Asante sana. Mtazamaji wangu ni kukujuza kwamba leo kuna mambo mengi sana ambayo tutakuwa nazidi kuendelea. Lakini kabla sijaendelea, jamani sasa naona kitenge kingine kimeingia hapa ndani. Unapendeza sana. Karibia tu hapa. Asante sana. Labda kwa jina?
Kwa majina naitwa Hana Wangombe. Mimi ni mkurugenzi mkuu wa kina mama ambao wanafanya kazi uchimbaji madini. Na kwa hivyo tuko hapa kuwakilisha na celebrate akina mama hawa.
Yaani wachimba madini wanaweza ng'ara hivi.
Kabisa, usituone hata tukiwa machimboni. Huwa tunatokelezea.
Na labda siku ya leo unatarajia nini kikubwa sana kukipata kutoka katika hafla hii?
Hafla hii kwanza ni kwamba kuna training katika wealth creation, kuna mambo ya kina mama na inclusion. Kwa hivyo hayo ndio mambo tunatarajia kuyasikia. Ndio.
Karibu sana. Na natumai kwamba siku yako itaweza kuwa fana kabisa jinsi unavyotarajia. Na bila shaka mtazamaji wangu, kama nilivyokujuza ni kwamba kuna mambo mengi sana ambayo yanazidi kuendelea siku ya leo. Kina mama tofauti wamekuja hapa, na muona pia mdosi wangu hapa Monica. Sijaimuona hivi lakini leo nashangaa jamani, namuona na rinda la mkono mmoja. Ni fahari yangu sana. Azunguke asizunguke, Karibu sana. Kumbe unaweza ng'ara. Kuma unaweza kaa vizuri hivi.
Looking good, looking very good. Lazima tungare. Lazima tungare. We celebrate being women.
Lazima leo tujue fundi ni nani.
Fundi anaitwa Judy. Ni fundi wangu, amekuwa fundi wangu miaka mingi. Na ananielewa kabisa kimwili, lakini pia anaelewa kama kuna function ananitengenezea.
Unajua leo mtihani mkubwa ni kujua kwa nini ukachagua mshono huu. Sasa ni fundi alichagua ama ni wewe ukachagua?
Ni mimi nilichagua. Alafu nikampa fundi nikamwambia hivi ndo nataka. Kwa maana nilikuwa nataka ma golden. Unajua dhahabu. Yeah, so ni fundi ndo tuliongea naye nikamwambia ninachotaka, alafu akakitengeneza.
Najua wewe masuala ya wanawake yapo katika moyo wako sana, na hii leo sijui ni kipi kikubwa ambacho unatarajia?
Mimi natarajia kukutana kwanza tu na wanawake na marinda yetu na kuenjoy kwetu, lakini pia kukutana nao, kuongea nao, kuhisia vile walivyo, vile wanaendeleza makazi, vile wanadeal na challenges tunazozipata kikazi, lakini pia tu kuwa celebrate. Kuja hapa kuenjoy na kuhakikisha ya kwamba wanaelewa Nation Media Group ni nambari 1 kwa kutaka kuwajulia hali yao na kuhakikisha kwamba tunawapatia vipindi vinavyosaidia maisha yao. Kwa hivyo sisi sasa kama Nation Media Group tunataka kuhakikisha kwamba watu wasijue tu ati tu kila siku tunaongea, hapana. Women are at the heart of everything that we do. Yeah.
Jamani mtazamaji wangu, umeweza kusikia. Mimi sitaki kuandika kwa wino ilhali kwa mate, ilhali wino anao. Unapendeza sana. Unapendeza sana. Na kweli hii dhahabu imeshika. Asante sana. Unajua mimi ndio fundi mimi mwenyewe. Asante sana Monica, na kutakia kila laheri katika hafla ya leo. Mtazamaji, nilikujuza kwamba kuna mambo mengi tu ambayo yanazidi kuendelea, lakini kwa sasa nafahamishwa kwamba mwenzangu Elijah Ouko yuko katika upande wa pili, atakuwa anaangazia zawadi kuhusiana na mchezo wa gofu. Kumbuka kwamba hii leo wanawake wamekuwa wakijitosa katika eneo hili la Windsor kucheza mchezo wa gofu, mchezo ambao umeweza kuwaleta pamoja, kuwafanya jamani wakaweza kuzungumza masuala mengi, masuala ya kuwekeza, masuala ya kibinafsi tu vile vile, na pia kujitosa ndani katika huu mchezo wa gofu ambao kwa miaka na mikaka tuseme pengine umeonekana kuwa ni mchezo ambao unachezwa sana na wanaume, lakini kwa sasa wanawake wamejitosa. Elijah huko akiendelea kujipanga na kuangazia shughuli inaendelea vipi. Mimi hapa nazidi tukaribisha kina dada. Namuona mwenzangu huyu ananiambia jamani ametoka wapi, lakini assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, how are you?
I'm very good. Nataka unijuze jina lako. Hii buibui ni ya kipekee. Hii sijawahi iona hii.
Kwa majina naitwa Fathi kutoka Comex Homes. We are so happy to be here today for the Women International Day. Yeah.
Na buibui hii umeitoa wapi? Kwa sababu buibui sisi tumezoea ni zile ndefu tu, lakini hii yako naona iko na mpaka mshono wa kando.
Tumetoka kwa Pinterest, the style. Tumetoka kwa Pinterest, imeshonwa Isili.
Imeshonwa Isili. Mwambie ufundi wako wa Isili jamani, amefanya kazi nzuri sana. Karibu sana ndani ya IWD 2024. Kina dada wazidi tu kuja, msiogope. Leo ni siku yenu jamani, mkipatiwa fursa mnang'ara nayo. Labda ujitambulishe tu, jina lako ni nani, utambie ni kipi kikubwa ambacho kimekuleta hapa hii leo.
Okay. My name is Mariam Mamuni.
Tusonge karibu.
My name is Mariam. Work at Comex Homes. So we are here today to network, enrich ourselves with the African culture, and yes, get to know each other. Yeah.
Na mshono naona huu ni ule mshono ambao unajulikana kama kimono. Kwa nini uko na leo unavalia kimono?
Yeah, because the theme was African, and then now you know there's the very many varieties. So badala ya kuvaa kitenge juu hadi chini, you can still rock your dress and just add an accessory on top.
Umesema baada ya hafla pia kimono inaweza tolewa, alafu uende
twende tofauti. Kabisa.
Karibu sana katika hafla yetu ya leo. Jamani, mambo ndio kama hayo. Na kama nilivyokujuza ni kwamba watu wakija hapa waking'ara, na muona pia mheshimiwa amefika hapa. Wacha aje azungumze nasi. Karibu sana. Siku ya mwisho nilikuwa nao ilikuwa ndani ya gumzo la Sato. Leo tumekuona tena. Karibu sana.
Shukran, naona umejipamba kabisa.
Ndio mambo yangu tu.
Umefana sana.
Na labda mheshimiwa ajitambulishe kwa manufaa ya mtazamaji, alafu pia tueleze hafla hii ya leo unatarajia kipi.
Mimi naitwa Njeri Maina, ni mwakilishi wa kina mama pale Kirinyaga County. Hafla ya leo natarajia kwamba tutapata kusikiza kina mama ambao wameweza kung'aa kwa sehemu tofauti tofauti, private sector, public sector. Najua pia tutakuwa na COGT hapa ili tuweze kuona kama kina mama tumefika wapi, manake lazima tufanye evaluation.
Mheshimiwa, hii nguo yako hii ni ya Kenya ama umeitoa ugaibuni?
Hii nimetoa hapa. Kuna yule stylist wangu pale Nairobi, CBD, anaitwa Ian. Anafanya kazi safi sana. Unanunua tu material, unamletea, unamwambia unataka iwe vipi, kisha anaunda.
Hii ni kama milioni ngapi?
Jamani, milioni wapi jamani? Wajua sasa ukisema milioni watazamaji watashangaa, jamani hao
wamekula unakula pesa zetu.
Watasema tumekula taxes. Hii sio pesa nyingi.
Lakini umependeza sana. Karibu sana na nakutakia kila laheri siku ya leo, ukizidi tu kujifurahisha. Na mtazamaji, namuona pia kuna dada mwingine ambaye anakuja hapa, acha tuzungumze naye. Jamani, huyu sasa amesema leo hata taa zikizima hili rinda tu tayari litaweza kuwasha taa. Karibu sana. Mbona tunafanana?
Great women think alike. Ndio tunasema.
Nitambulishe kwa jina, niambie mshono wako ni upi na kwa nini ukachagua hii rangi?
Mimi naitwa Wangari Kulia, natoka pale Kitengela na mimi ni mkulima.
Wakulima pia wanang'ara hivi.
Wanang'ara.
Unalima nini jamani?
Mimi nalima uyoga ama mushroom. Yes.
Jamani, biashara ya uyoga imekuwa vipi?
Iko nzuri. Si unaniona tu wewe, unaona tu bei pale iko bei nzuri. Alafu pia ninaelimisha wengine vile wanaweza anza kulima katika kwa nyumba zao. Ile backyard ama urban farming pia niko pale na waelimisha. Naitwa Farmer on Fire.
Farmer on Fire.
Yes.
Jamani, yani mkulima moto. Hata rinda lenyewe ni moto.
Yes.
Sasa mbona ukachagua huu mshono?
Huu mshono nilichagua kwa sababu nilisikia Dina nikaona maybe itakuwa gala ile manguo ambayo yanarembesha yenye wezi vaa mchana. Kitu cha pili, purple nasikia ni color of royal. Na leo ni siku ya kusherehekea wanawake na tunaamini women are royal indeed. Kabisa.
Naam, karibu sana katika hafla leo na nakutakia kila laheri. Na mtazamaji, ngoja nizungumze na wengine. Nimekwambia mimi siondoki hapa. Yaani wanaingia tu na wakaribisha. Karibu sana mami. Tujuze jina, niambie pia kuhusiana na mshono wako. Naona kwa wote ambao wamefika hapa ni kama wewe ndio umekuja kwanza na kibeti.
Kwa majina naitwa Beatrice. Na Beatrice Kehuria na nashukuru sana kwa kuja kushirikiana na mama wenzangu. Hii nguo ambayo nimevaa ni nguo ya kipekee sana. Kama vile unaiona na kibeti chake kinapendeza. Ni nguo ambayo imeshonwa na Mkenya mwenzetu na ameishona kwa utaratibu sana, naipenda zaidi.
Na siku ya leo labda unatarajia kupata nini kikubwa?
Sana look forward to networking. I'm looking forward to meeting, to making new networks that I can build. I'm a researcher by profession, so I'm looking forward to meeting women from different spheres, from different sectors that I can network with and grow in different ways in life. But I'm also motivated to just come and listen to, our leaders there and get inspired to with their achievements. Yeah.
Karibu sana na natumai kwamba siku yako itakuendea vyema kabisa. Naona wengine pale wanapiga picha. Hakikisha kwamba umepata picha katika hafla hii.
Asante sana.
Na asante sana. Sijui kama mwenzangu Elijah, lakini karibia tu. Elijah akijipanga upande mwingine, mimi nazungumza na kina mama ambao wameng'ara. Napenda sana kimono. Hebu niambie, wajua watu ambao wanavalia kimono wewe inasemekana kama ni wajanja. Wakisikia kwamba kuna hafla ambao mnavaa African, kuweka kimono ni rahisi sana.
Rahisi kabisa.
Lakini siku yako inakuendea vipi? Na jina lako ni nani?
Jina langu naitwa Marion Kibe. Yes, na siku yangu iko sawa, nashukuru. Women's Day, siku ya wamama.
Na siku ya kimataifa ya wanawake ina maana gani kwako?
Ina maana ya kwamba kuna wale walioenda mbele yetu na kuna sisi na kuna wale wanakuja nyuma yetu. Sisi wote ni wanawake, tuheshimiane, tuishi kwa amani, tushikiliane na tupendane.
Naam, asante sana. Na natumai kwamba utakuwa na siku nzuri ya kujifurahisha. Naam, asante sana. Mwelekezi wangu hapa naona anazidi kuniletea wanadada. Sasa mtazamaji, kauli mbiu ya mwaka huu imekuwa ni ya wanawake waweze kuwekeza, na kama nilivyokujuza ni kwamba wanawake hawawekezi kwa hela peke yake, hata katika mavazi. Hapo awali tumeweza kuona karibia tu kina mama tofauti wameweza kuvalia nguo ambayo iko na mshono ama kitambaa cha ankara ama ukipenda pia kanga, lakini huyu namuona ameenda tofauti kidogo. Amesema kwamba yeye anacheza na shanga za Kiafrika. Karibu sana, tujuze jina lako alafu tuambie mbona mshono huu.
Asante, naitwa Margaret Jenga kutoka shirika la PS Kenya, Population Services Kenya. Jinsi nimevaa shanga ni kupromote wanawake waliotengeneza hizi shanga. That is why nimevaa hizi.
Hii imetengenezwa na mwanamke?
Na mwanamke, yes. Nilinunua kutoka mwanamke mjamzito. Yes.
Eneo gani?
Nairobi.
Tuambie ni Nairobi wapi, kwa sababu pia sisi kesho tunataka twende tumshabikie pia huyo mwanamke.
Kutoka Masai Market. Masai Market iko mwanamke anayeitwa Judy, nilinunua kutoka kwake. Yes, na ndio nimefurahi sana leo.
Na siku ya leo ya kumshabikia mwanamke kwako ina maana gani?
Ina maana mingi. Kwanza wanawake wanafaa kusaidiana na kusaidia wanawake wengine, especially wanawake walio wako in leadership. Manake ukiwa in leadership inaweza kuwa very lonely. Ndio ni muhimu wanawake waweze kusaidiana. Na pia wanawake, ukiangalia jinsi ya kuzaa, wanawake wana shida zaidi kuliko wanaume. Shirika ambalo nafanya kazi nalo, Population Services Kenya, linashughulikia mambo ya kusaidia wanawake, kuwafundisha kuhusu jinsi ya kujitunza kimwili, na wakiwa wajamzito waende wazae katika hospitali na si kuzaa nyumbani. Yes.
Kwa hivyo kikubwa ambacho natarajia hii leo ni kipi?
Nimefurahi sana, na tarajia kuongea na wanawake wengine, networking, nijue wanawake wengine, na pia jioni baadaye nitaongea as a panelist kwa lugha ya Kimombo. Yeah.
Utakuwa na nani? Janet Mbugo ama Julius Sambo?
Janet Mbugo at 9:45 p.m. Yes. So bila shaka nina furaha sana. Na niko hapa pia na wanawake wengine ambao ninafanya kazi nao. Yes, na pia nashukuru kuwa hapa leo.
Bila shaka atakuwa hapa kusubiri na kusikia mengi ambayo utatuambia ifikapo mwendo wa 3:15. Asante sana. Na mtazamaji, ndio hali ilivyo. Piga picha yangu Isinta, naona nazidi tu kukuonyesha mishono. Mimi napenda jinsi wanawake wamesema leo wanang'ara na mishono. Sasa huyu amesema mulisema Afrika, wacha nionyeshe kibeti cha Afrika. Anza na jina lako, jitambulisho, unajulikana kama nani, na siku hii unaishabikia vipi?
My name is Phyllis Moreu. I'm the Executive Director for Window International Kenya. So I oversee the projects in Kenya and in Somalia. And I'm very excited. This is the second time we're collaborating with NTV. We did this in 2022. So it's exciting to be back. Yeah.
Karibu sana. Na leo tunazungumzia mishono. Hiki kibeti ulikitoa wapi? Kwa sababu unapenda huu shanga huu ambao uko hapa katikati.
Yeah, I love it. I got this from Aldefi at Yaya. So they have lovely handbags like this. Yeah.
Unapendeza sana.
Thank you.
Na siku ya leo labda unatarajia kipi? What are your expectations today?
That what we are looking at, empowering the women, including them in socio-economic activities, that we live up to it. It's not just a one-day or a one-hour affair, but tomorrow we will still be talking about the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Asante sana na nakutakia kila laheri siku ya leo. Na mtazamaji, kwa sasa ni kitafuta tu kupata kopo la maji na kuacha na hizi picha tu uweze kuangalia jinsi kina dada wameweza kung'ara, vitenge mbalimbali, rangi ainati. Na katika sasa naona ni kama tayari wageni washaanza kuingia. Kumbuka kwamba nilikujuza hafla hii tutakuwa tunatarajia zaidi ya wageni 600 ambao watakuwa nafika hapa kuzungumza nasi, wengine pia ni kusikiza, lakini cha msingi zaidi itakuwa na mahojiano ambayo tutakuwa tunazungumza kuhusiana na wanawake, jinsi wanawake ambao wameweza kujijenga na kufikia sasa. Je, mwanamke wa sasa anajihisi vipi hata katika jamii? Mtazamaji, kumbuka kwamba mwaka huu kauli mbiu ikiwa ni wekeza kwa wanawake, yani inclusion. Mbona kimombo kidogo ni kama inanitoroka, lakini nikipata hilo jina kwa kimombo nitakuwa narudi nikwambie inamaanisha nini, ama kauli mbiu mwaka huu kwa Nyingenge. Lakini mtazamaji, kwa sasa kama unavyoona ni kwamba hakuna mengi ambayo yanaendelea, ni kukaribisha wageni, kuna vinywaji, kuna masuala tofauti ambayo pia wanawake wanajihusisha nayo. Wanawake hapa wanazidi kujipiga picha, lazima wajihisi kana kwamba wanapendeza, wajihisi kwamba ni siku yao. Na nataka kuzungumza na baadhi ambao ndo wamefika. Nataka kuzungumza na baadhi yao wanijuze mawili matatu tu kuhusiana na siku hii ya leo na mshono ambao waliopata. Ni kipi ambacho kimechangia mishono hii? Kumbuka kwa sasa tunaangazia mishono, baadaye itakuwa tunaingia kwa mambo mengine. Karibu sana ndani ya NTV.
Nashukuru.
Haya, naomba tusongee hivi. Naam, tunazungumzia kikubwa ni kuhusiana na siku ya leo, lakini kabla tujaingia kwa siku ya leo, tuzungumzie mshono wako.
Mshono wangu tu hii ni ya hapa. Nilinunua tu kwa moja wa hizi maduka hapa tu Nairobi.
Inapendeza sana.
Nashukuru.
Lakini
sana.
Ni kipi ambacho kilikuvutia? Ni rangi ya manjano ama?
Rangi ya manjano ni rangi ambayo mimi mwenyewe napenda. Hata ukiangalia nywele yangu nilikuwa nataka ikaribie manjano lakini kufikia. Ni rangi ambayo napenda, inanifanya nikae na mwangaza.
Na siku ya leo labda kwako wewe kibinafsi ni siku ambayo ina maana gani?
Kwangu hii siku ni muhimu sana. Sababu tunaangazia mambo ya wanawake. Wanawake hawajapatiwa nafasi kuu kukaa kwenye meza kuzungumzia mambo ambayo inawahusu. Ni siku muhimu sana. Sababu tunapoangalia mambo ya wanawake, tunafaa kuangalia wanawake wapate kusoma, wanawake wapate ile tunasema empowerment, na tuweze kueliminate mambo yote ya violence kwa wanawake. Kwa hivyo hii ni muhimu kukaa na kuangalia as a country tumemove how far.
Kwa hivyo unajihisi kwamba wanawake hawajapatiwa fursa ya kuzungumza?
Nahisi kama hawajapatiwa ile nafasi ya kuzungumza vizuri. Wamepatiwa kidogo, kuna maendeleo kidogo inaendelea, lakini si vile tunastahili kukua.
Wacha nione mwenzako hapa, anapendeza sana. Unavyoniangalia lugha ya Kiswahili uko sawa?
Kidogo.
Kidogo. Songea karibu. Umejifunza nini kwa lugha ya Kiswahili? What have you taught yourself in Swahili?
Mimi ninajifunza Kiswahili, lakini shida nyingi. Ndio.
Shida nyingi ndio neno la Kiswahili. Okay, so we are talking about the beautiful outfits that women are actually wearing today, and you're looking so beautiful. I love your hand design. Just maybe you can take us through your design today.
Perfect, thank you. Actually, this is a Kenyan design. I bought it from, I can't remember the name of the shop, and I wore when the king came to visit Kenya in November. So I'm very proud to be here today and to be wearing Kenyan dress. When I go back to the UK, I'm from the UK, when I go back to the UK, my family were astonished how beautiful the dress is.
Absolutely. Please tell them that in Kenya we have amazing designs.
I completely
What
agree.
is your name again?
Eduarda Mendonça Gray.
Hey, hi, Eduarda. Sitaki kuendelea jamani mtazamaji, naweza sema maneno ambayo si sawa. Kwa sasa mtazamaji wangu, kumbuka kwamba nimekujuza hii leo tumekuwa tukicheza mchezo wa gofu, na kuna wale ambao leo wamejitosa ndani ya mchezo huu kwa mara ya kwanza, na nafahamishwa kwamba mwenzangu ambaye anashughulikia masuala ya michezo Elijah Ouko yuko upande wa pili, atakuwa anatupatia mutaratara ama anatupatia njia yani kipi ambacho kinaendelea upande ule wa pili, lakini nafahamishwa kwamba zipo zawadi ambazo zinazawadiwa wale ambao waliweza kujitosa katika mchezo huu wa gofu kileo. Elijah, kwako.
Handicap 34. Well played. Well played. Roland was actually one of the first people to report this morning when I think most of you were still asleep. So well played, Roland. I'll ask Kenya to present the next set of prizes. Or she has stepped out. Okay, so then I'll ask Philbert to please come back. So the next category of prizes are the men prizes. And our men runner-up, playing off handicap 24 with 44 points, Timothy Kuria. Timothy Kuria. Okay, I think he's not here. We have made a decision to keep the prizes. at the request of the sponsor, and also to just thank people for playing International Women's Day. So I will ask the Windsor captain, Greg Gadumbi, to collect the prize on behalf of Timothy. Well done. So the men winner, also playing an incredible score, handicap 43, 45 points, Jared Onyach. Jared Onyach. Is Jared here? Okay, Jared is not here, so I will pick Godwin Karoga to collect Jared's prize on his behalf. Well done. Okay, so now we move to the ladies' prizes. We had 3 divisions for the ladies, and the first division is Division C, playing handicap 37 to 54 today. And our Division C runner-up is getting a hamper courtesy of Hanan, one of the sponsors of the day. Playing off handicap 47, 39 points, Angela Kingori.
Lazima wachuchume.
So I will ask Patricia Wagongu to pick the prize on her behalf.
Chumbani enesi, unipatie panado, kujenga za Messi, na mashuti ya Ronaldo, yani ndani nikiingia tu anachukua, anaweka, wa kwenye gari, anachukua, anaweka, iwe jikonyo varanda, anachukua, anaweka.
This prize includes the lovely hamper sponsored by Hako. Eunice Kuria, 46 handicap, 45 points.
Waleso jipepe, oye Museku Nambi jipepe, o Ricardo Momo jipepe, oye Mama Dangote jipepe, Ndoni Fungo jipepe, chu chu jipepe, chu 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 jipepe, yani chu chu jipepe, chu 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 jipepe. Joseph Merkier, Kaya Kaya Musa, Pukaba, Pukaba.
So we have 3 prizes for each of those divisions. So Division B today, playing handicap 19 to 36. Division B had the highest scores if you aggregate the scores today. Division B, lady third, winning again a lovely hamper from Hanan, handicap 20, 46 points, Susan Koinange. Handicap 20. Well played. Well played. So the winner, the Division B lady runner-up, beat Susan on count-back. Handicap 26, 46 points, Nancy Steinman. I'm not sure which course some people were playing today. There are very many scores in the 40s. So well played to the field. Well played. Well done. And again, our Division B lady winner beat Nancy Steinman on countback, handicap 35, Rita Waroinge, our KLGU treasurer. I just want to give a disclaimer. We don't ordinarily have 46 points in our tournaments. So I hope you will carry on the same golf in the opens, in the 36-hole and 54-hole events. Yes? So finally, the Division A prizes. Division A lady third. Thank you. Philbert. So Kenya, I'll ask you to come up and present our last three prizes. So the Division A lady third winner, winning again a hamper from Hanan, handicap 14, 34 points, our counselor, KLGU counselor Mary Modoni. Well played, well played. Okay, so our Division A lady runner-up, someone who knows this course quite well, handicap 13, 37 points, Kathy. Well played. And finally, our Division A lady winner, playing off handicap 18, 38 points, Grace Geshoke. Well played. So well done to all our winners, and we are left with two more things to do. We would like to thank, as KLGU, a number of individuals who graced our occasion. We don't take it for granted, given their responsibilities. So I'd like to begin by asking our KLGU chairman to hand over one of our HACO hampers to Golf Kenya and KGU chairman Philip Ochola. Thank you. Yes. It's okay. So today the golf presentation was to take place immediately after the game finished. We would also like to give a small token of our appreciation to the Windsor captain, Greg Gadhumbi. And last but not least, we would like to thank the Lady Captain, Maria Alo. She has been our point of contact here at the club. So thank you for helping us organize today. And finally, I would like to introduce from Nation Media Group, Kenya, to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are well? Oh, good. So I will start with the protocols. I understand from the golf fraternity is very important. So the KLGU chairman, KLGU officials present, past KLGU chairman present, Windsor Lady Captain Maria Alo, Lady Captains and Vice Lady Captains present, Golf Kenya chairman and the KGU chairman Philip Ochola, the Windsor Captain Greg Gadhumbi, our fellow sponsors and partners, and golfers. I'd like to just take a very short time to say how grateful we are to see you, all of you today. It is very exciting when you hear that over 80% of the field was women. And I think it's very fitting for International Women's Day for that to have been the case. I think the beauty about this day is that it continues to drive us to promote ourselves, to be proud of ourselves and what we do. And golf is such a beautiful way of celebrating that. And for that, we're so grateful.
The moment I feel my pain starting to fade, it's like I'm going back to myself on a really good day.
Panadol Extra releases you from strong pain. Panadol, release starts here.
Warembo, ni nini muhimu kwenu mnaponunua body lotion? Smoothness, scent, glow. Nunua Nice and Lovely body lotion. Inai-transform dry skin kuwa deeply nourished na kui-smoothed. Na fragrance nayo. Wacha tu.
Now available in the 850 ml pack.
Chagua Kenya's #1 body lotion.
Ukikuja home late from work, unataka Glovo. Ukitaka kushop bila queue,
just Glovo.
Unatafuta last minute gift,
order Glovo.
Pizza, wigs, flowers,
Glovo.
Order anything you want and dance away. Come on, naitaka, there's no better way. Ding dong Glovo, ding ding dong Glovo.
Download the app, order anything, track it minute by minute, and we'll deliver.
My